Coming up next on NewsDepth, this Ohio company is playing a super cool role in the pandemic. Plus, the UK has given the okay to a COVID vaccine. Archeologists are on the hunt for Harriet Tubman's childhood home. And move aside, boys, these girls are getting in on deer season. NewsDepth is now. The COVID vaccine is so close, I can almost feel that pinch on my shoulder. Hello, everybody. I'm Margaret Cavalier, filling in for Rick Jackson. Thanks for joining us. We hope you had a good Thanksgiving break, but plenty has been happening while we were away, so let's hop right to the news. We begin in the United Kingdom, where they have approved the Pfizer and BioNTech vaccine for use against the coronavirus. The country's medical regulator has been receiving updated information on the vaccine trials since October and says this allowed them to give the vaccine the green light as soon as possible. The vaccine will be distributed as early as this week. But who will have priority when it comes to getting the shots? Priority means given more importance or coming before something else. Reporter Salma Abdelaziz has the details on this and more. Salma?
One big step for the UK and a giant leap for humankind. The first Western nation to approve a coronavirus vaccine will be rolling it out early. The super quick authorization came in part because Britain's regulators engaged constantly with Pfizer and BioNTech, according to experts. An initial batch of 800,000 doses will soon arrive from Belgium. That's enough for half as many people, given they need 2 doses 21 days apart. Government guidance says residents in nursing homes and their caregivers should be given priority. Then next, frontline health workers and those over 80.
The real challenge will be immunizing the wider population. Health experts say 2/3 of people need to have immunity in order for the epidemic to be stopped. That means winning hearts and minds and persuading as many people as possible that the vaccine is safe and effective.
Regulators were quick to assure the public.
Everyone can be absolutely confident that no corners whatsoever have been cut.
On the streets of London, elation and relief.
Having been through this year and lost a lot of people to this horrendous illness that has taken a lot of people's family, friends, co-workers, I think it's been quite a shocking situation. And we're very grateful to see the news today.
I think everyone has slight doubts. It's been quite quick in the making. And then, they're going to inject you something alien into your body. So, yeah, I'm a bit skeptical, but things need to go back to some kind of normal.
The end of the pandemic is in sight. The final hurdle will be gaining the public's trust in the cure.
Thanks, Salma. In the U.S., the Food and Drug Administration's vaccine committee is set to meet December 10th to discuss emergency approval of that same vaccine. They meet again on December 17th to discuss approval of a vaccine from drug maker Moderna. FDA Commissioner Dr. Stephen M. Hahn has said the government is committed to finding and approving a safe COVID vaccine as soon as possible. Now, 3 former U.S. presidents have already said that they are willing to publicly take the vaccine when it becomes available. Barack Obama, George W. Bush, and Bill Clinton. They hope doing so will encourage others to follow their lead. Now, you heard in Salma's story that the UK is giving priority to the elderly living in nursing homes and then to frontline workers. In the U.S., the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has recommended vaccines be given first to healthcare workers and then to residents of nursing homes. For this week's question, we want you to write to us and tell us what factors should determine who gets a vaccine first. You can submit your letters through the inbox form beneath this episode and on the NewsDepth homepage. Now for this week's poll, we want to know if you would volunteer to participate in a vaccine trial. Head online to vote either yes or no. The family in this next story, they already voted yes. The Coma clan signed up to be part of a trial to see how effective the vaccine is and if it comes with any bad side effects. Mom, dad, and daughter were each given a set of 2 shots, but they don't know if they were given the actual vaccine or a placebo. A placebo is a harmless medicine used as a control in testing drugs. Placebos help scientists compare the impact of having the vaccine and not having the vaccine. Caroline Hicks asked the family why they chose to volunteer. Caroline?
The Coma family says participating in the Pfizer vaccine trial has been simple.
They give you a shot and you book an appointment to come back 3 weeks later and get your second shot.
You track your symptoms on an app. Steve says he was the only one to experience side effects.
The second one, I felt not great for about 24 hours afterwards.
It's a blind trial. You don't know if you got the placebo or the vaccine. But Steve has a hunch.
Much to the chagrin of both my wife and daughter, but I think like I got the true vaccine just because I had a reaction to it.
Potentially getting vaccinated through the trial is one of the reasons they signed up.
If they do start offering the vaccine, they will let us know if we receive the placebo or the vaccine, and then we'll have the option to get vaccinated. And I do plan on getting vaccinated.
A letter sent to trial participants reads that Pfizer is looking to create a process that would allow interested participants in the placebo group to cross over to the vaccine group.
Trust the scientists. It's like going on an airplane. You're in the pilot's hands. They know what they're doing. And that's how I feel about this as well.
We all know people that are in the at-risk categories. We have a mother-in-law who's 92 in an assisted living facility. I have parents with heart conditions, and so, it's a meaningful thing to step up, and since we're all in good health, we seem like perfect volunteers.
Thanks, Caroline. Now, one Ohio company is playing a big role in getting ready for the vaccine to make it to those who need it most. Remember last episode we told you that the vaccines need to be kept extra cold? Solo Environmental Equipment in Cincinnati manufactures freezers that can handle the sub-zero temperatures required for the vaccines. And as Brian Hammock reports, the business is swamped with new orders.
It's not even winter, and some of the coldest temperatures on the planet are in Evendale.
It's rated to minus 85, okay, but it'll go down to minus 91.
Minus 91 Celsius. That's colder than 130 degrees below zero Fahrenheit. Cold enough to freeze a Coke can solid in less than 8 minutes. What's hot is the demand for these super cold freezers.
Normally our business is a lot of onesie-twosie orders. We're getting orders for 50, 40, 210.
Dan Hensler is with Solo Environmental Equipment. It's a family-run business with about 50 employees, now taking orders from Lowe's and Rite Aid. They're on the global stage because they're one of a very few making the freezers that can store the most promising COVID vaccine from Pfizer at minus 70 degrees Celsius. That's negative 94 Fahrenheit.
No one in the United States right now has capacity. There's a worldwide shortage of freezers. This is our insulating foaming area.
Dan shows us the process of making these thermometer shivering freezers. Where the metal box is made to the way the components are assembled.
This is like a big Legos project.
Yeah, exactly.
No one could have guessed that the key to a vaccination distribution plan would include super cold freezers, not even those at the family-run business that makes them.
You guys got to feel pretty good about being part of this whole solution, though.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we definitely feel like we're helping out.
So crews work Saturdays and overtime to keep up with the high demand of these square boxes that are colder than the Arctic Circle.
Thanks, Brian. While the freezers are ready to hold the vaccine, new nursing students in Wisconsin are ready to administer it too. The vaccine has put into perspective the importance of their career path. Jennifer Cleese has the story.
It's been what we've been building towards for our entire lives.
Connor Mickelson never expected to be learning to become a nurse at such a critical time.
Being able to go and help people and being able to do that in the middle of a pandemic is almost an honor in a sense.
It's challenged the students to be able to assess health and wellness and illness in a different way.
Nursing students at Edgewood College are now training virtually, but still getting some time in clinics.
We're interacting with individuals out in the community as well as in the hospital.
Interim Dean Colleen Gullickson says soon-to-be graduates are already getting job offers as hospitals face shortages.
We're sort of revisiting that they can graduate, come and work, and then we'll get you to pass your state board exam.
Madison College is seeing more interest in its nursing program too.
More drive, more desire to be able to get into the profession and, make a difference and help.
Director Carrie Kleminski says pandemic limitations have created new clinic partnerships to train students.
It ends up being a very positive connection that perhaps we wouldn't have been guided to without needing to cast a wider net for clinical opportunities.
Connor Mickelson has enjoyed the opportunity to help with flu shot clinics as he prepares to graduate this winter.
Definitely a little bit nerve-wracking, but it's an exciting experience.
Ready to take on the essential work he's seen from nurses throughout the pandemic.
It really shows you just how community can come together, adapt, and really power through and help people cope with everything that's going on.
Thanks, Jennifer. But those nursing students have me thinking about your future careers. Last episode, we asked you to write to us about what kind of scientist you would like to be. Let's see what you chose by opening up our inbox. Sadie and Paige from Gill Sweet Elementary in Fairview Park teamed up. Me and my sister Paige would like to be paleontologists. We would like to be paleontologists because we love dinosaurs, and Paige loves to collect rocks and crystals. One of our favorite movies is Jurassic Park, and we think rocks, crystals, and fossils. That's why we would like to be paleontologists. Here's one from Grayson at Crestview Elementary in Brunswick. If I could be a scientist, I would be a dendrologist. I would want to be a dendrologist because I love trees, and trees give us breathable air. Also, I like the different types of trees. Eli from Hardin Northern School in Dunkirk wrote, well, there's a lot of scientists. I would like to be an astronomer. An astronomer is a scientist in the field of astronomy who focuses their studies on a specific question or field outside the scope of Earth. They observe astronomical objects such as stars, planets, moons, comets, and galaxies. Wow, you sound pretty scientific already, Eli. Rami from Strongsville Middle in Strongsville wrote, I would like to be a climate scientist so I could help solve climate change. This would be a good choice because global warming is a big problem in the world right now and is hurting a lot of animals. The animals should be saved because if a species goes extinct, such as penguins, then the ecosystem will be completely thrown off. Then animals like sharks, whales, seals, etc. will go extinct as well. Eventually, that will keep happening until most of our animals that we see now will be extinct after starving. Finally, Freddie from St. Paul's School in North Canton chose something unique. I would like to be an ethologist. I think the study of animal behavior is cool. I have a cat at home and she does a lot of strange behaviors. I also think this would help me learn more about animals and how they live. I think this could help more people learn that we need to protect the animals that are strange. Freddie, maybe you could figure out why Newscat is always napping. And nice research and writing, everyone. I love how diverse your career choices are. We got over 750 letters from you for this episode, and I have to say, they get better and better each week, so keep them coming. And speaking of student scientists, Time magazine revealed its first ever Kid of the Year. Time's initiative, along with Nickelodeon, recognizes extraordinary young leaders who are making a positive impact in their communities. Meet 15-year-old Gitanjali Rao. She was selected from thousands of nominees. According to Time magazine, exceptional leadership is what made Rao stand out. She's a brilliant young scientist and inventor from Colorado. Rao uses technology to help solve issues that she's passionate about, like opioid addiction and cyberbullying. Her message to other youth: don't try to fix every problem, just focus on one that excites you. Rao will be featured on the December 14th cover of Time. Nice! Now, last episode, we asked you to vote on which of the Spot on Science topics you would like to learn more about. And 70% of you said sarcophagi that archaeologists in Egypt found. Teachers, we'll have some extra resources on the Egyptians beneath this episode. And this next story is all about archaeologists, too. They're on the hunt for Harriet Tubman's childhood home in the woods of Maryland. Tubman was a famous abolitionist who led dozens of enslaved African Americans to freedom in the 1800s. An abolitionist is someone who favors ending slavery. Brad Bell has a story from Dorchester County.
For about a week now, a team led by State Highway Administration archaeologist Julie Shablitsky has been slogging into the flooded woods of Blackwater National Wildlife Refuge on Maryland's eastern shore. They are on a mission to revive a forgotten history.
I think that it's possible we're going to find it.
It is the home where Harriet Tubman's father, Ben Ross, lived and raised the woman who would one day lead dozens of enslaved people to freedom along the Underground Railroad.
I believe that he's here somewhere. Where he lived is in this swamp, in the woods here.
These woods were once part of the 1,000-acre Thompson farm, where Ben Ross was born enslaved. It's where Harriet Tubman was also born, also enslaved. Finding the house is the dream of local historian Herschel Johnson.
It would be the connection that I think that we all would need to know. You imagine traveling at night in an area like this, and most of the time that's the way she traveled. But her father taught her all the things about how to be, how it would be out here.
The dig will go on for the rest of this week out here in sometimes ankle-deep water, digging hundreds of holes, and with each scoop, experiencing hope. They're looking for shards of pottery, rusty nails, anything to show this was where people lived in the mid-1800s.
You got to remain optimistic with every test you do, because there's a chance you can find it.
And so they dig on, and Herschel Johnson continues to watch and wait and hope that he can bridge a gap in history.
Thanks, Brad. How cool would it be to dig up that part of history? Now to another science, agriculture. In Utah, one farmer is pairing up with a tech company to grow feed for his cows. Their towering vertical grow system takes advantage of robots to raise grass for the hungry cows. I have to say, it's pretty cool. Jordan Hogan has the details.
Bateman and Moseda Farms produces milk and meat from their cows. But raising them takes a lot of feed and a lot of time. Now technology is making part of the process easier. These Olympus Tower farms are a form of robotic vertical farming.
The key is you can eliminate the weather challenges. It gives you a predictable, optimized crop every time.
It starts with the seeds being loaded into trays. Then they're wheeled up to the top of the tower to start a 6-day journey to the bottom of it for harvest. Along the way, they are watered with precision and given light from special LEDs that don't give off any heat. The whole process is automated too.
GroveTech says each one of these produces 6,000 pounds of food each time it goes through its cycle. And that's through saving money and time and water and energy. And the benefits don't stop there either. They are then passed on to the consumer.
Each of these machines represent between 35 and 50 acres of land. So in this case here, 50 acres, 875 feet, and 95% less water.
Saving water and space is something that's becoming increasingly important as the demand for more homes increase and climate change increases the chances for extreme drought in the summer months.
One of the biggest challenges farmers have around the world is how do they deal with the weather and the climate and the uncertainties that come with that.
This new technology couldn't have come at a better time for the farm either.
In the first weeks and first month of COVID, things started to go a little bit crazy.
Brad Bateman is one of the farming operations partners at Bateman Moseda Farms. He says the farm wasn't able to order in a lot of their feed at the beginning of the pandemic, threatening the cows' food supply.
Certain states were not letting trucks in, and just the whole supply chain was disrupted.
Now they can rely on their own production of feed, and it's a model that could be adopted beyond farms in the future.
Well, the vision that I would think, that I see, is there's probably one of these in the back of every supermarket, growing fresh food right in the store.
Thanks, Jordan. Okay, one more science story. And this is about some young scientists who, while only in high school, designed an experiment for NASA astronauts to test in space. They're hoping to figure out how a long spaceflight affects people's brains. As Kelly Lynn reports, their project is now part of the latest mission to the International Space Station. Kelly?
A successful start to a space mission that holds promising information for scientists.
We perform a wide variety of science ranging everywhere from biological to physical sciences, as well as earth and space sciences.
College students Finsam Sampson and Yuji Wang designed an experiment while attending high school in Troy, Michigan. It's called Genes in Space 7.
establishing a method by which we can look at how long-term spaceflight can impact neural function.
It really feels like being part of something monumental.
The students and their mentors have given the astronauts extracted genetic material from fruit flies with the goal of learning more about how spaceflight affects brain function.
We're doing kind of a basic, test of the protocol. Will it work on the ISS? Is this something the astronauts can carry out quite easily?
Questions that will be answered during the astronauts' 6-month mission. Through live streaming, the students will be able to watch the crew carry out the investigation.
And resilience rises.
Rising into space to conduct research that will benefit life on Earth.
Thanks, Kelly. Well, while we were away, deer gun hunting season began in Ohio. And it started with the youngest of hunters. Ohio's young hunters took in nearly 5,800 white-tailed deer during the 2020 two-day youth gun season on November 21st and 22nd. It was open to anyone under the age of 17 with a license. According to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, deer hunting helps keep the population of animals in check. They say the goal is to have the right number of deer for viewing and hunting, while also not having too many to harm agriculture and driving. A week of adult deer hunting just wrapped up too, and the next time for shooters will be December 19th and 20th. Normally, hunting seems to be a sport for the boys, but some girls in Wisconsin are breaking barriers and getting into the action. Eric Peterson met up with them at a practice range.
At the Outagamie Conservation Club, hunters practice to make perfect. Eric Willis is helping his 12-year-old daughter, Natalie, shoot for the very first time.
All right, safety's on, so I want you to put it up and look through the scope and find that target.
Natalie says she's been hunting before with her dad, but just as an observer.
It's right there, Natalie.
Okay. Concentrate on the target.
Just look at the target and shoot it right in the middle.
Trigger.
As Natalie recovers,
Pocket forward.
Another female shooter is getting reacquainted with the sport. Michelle Lawson says it's been decades since she hunted deer. She and her daughter Alyssa plan to take to the field this season.
Yeah, I am looking forward to it. It's usually just my dad and my brothers that go, but my mom and I don't really want to be left out anymore.
Not far away, Grace Woelfel is dialing in. The 15-year-old says she's been hunting since she was 9.
I feel like this is a very male-dominated sport. And I wish that more girls would do this because I feel like it's kind of empowering, to be able to say that, oh, I can do this and so can guys, and it's just something for everyone to do.
Meanwhile, Natalie has recovered enough to try again.
At first it was scary, but then it was fun.
It looked like you hit the target pretty good?
Yeah, I got right in the center. Bullseye. I got a bullseye.
Thanks, Eric. Well, it's not just the hunting field where women are leaning in. On the football field, one woman just made history. Sarah Fuller became the first woman to play in a Power 5 football game. Many of her male teammates were unable to play due to the pandemic, so she was called on to play in the recent Vanderbilt Commodores game against the Missouri Tigers. As a kicker, she had no opportunities to play in the first half of the game, but she kicked off for the Commodores to open the second half. Missouri's Mason Pack dove on top of the ball on the 35-yard line, making it a 30-yard kickoff. Way to go, Sarah. And way to go to our NewsDepth A+ award winners this week. When the coronavirus caused businesses across Ohio to abruptly close last spring, many small business owners didn't know what the future held. In Bay Village, 2 seniors at Bay High School came up with an idea that has been part of the answer. Our NewsDepth A+ goes to Regan O'Leary and Morgan Fisher, who started the Bay Gives Back initiative. We were talking about our favorite local restaurants and what would happen if they had to go out of business because of the shutdown. That's where it started. We wanted to help the local businesses, Regan said. The Bay Gives Back initiative encourages community members to visit local businesses. The girls created a calendar that features 4 businesses a month located in Bay Village, Rocky River, and Westlake. Regan and Morgan reached out to the city's school principals and PTO groups to help build awareness of the program. Each month, students from each of the city's 4 schools were encouraged to visit a few of the nearly 65 participating businesses. We have always been involved in fundraising for activities, and we wanted to help Bay, Morgan said. Businesses are always donating things to our athletic fields and programs, like sports equipment and food. Well, great job, Regan and Morgan. We're proud to award both of you this week's NewsDepth A+ for supporting businesses that have supported you. All right, well, I wonder if Newscat has woken up from her Thanksgiving nap. Let's see what she pawed up for this week's petting zoo. Why am I not surprised? Come on, Newscat, you're starting to embarrass me. That's better. Is that a turkey? Apparently she didn't have enough to eat over break. Well, to find out how this plump fellow was rescued from the dinner table, click the petting zoo button on our website. Thank you, Newscat. Now, before I sign off, I want to invite all of the teachers out there to join our Facebook group, where you can find out more behind-the-scenes details about the show and learn tips from each other on using NewsDepth in the classroom. And you can find the link to that Facebook group on the Connect With Us page. Now it's time to say there are plenty of ways to stay in touch. You can write to us. We're at 1375 Euclid Avenue. That's Cleveland, Ohio. Zip code is 44115. You can email us at newsdepth@ideastream.org, or you can tweet us. Our handle is @NewsDepthOhio. Thanks for joining us. I'm Margaret Cavalier. We'll see you right back here next week.
NewsDepth is made possible by a grant from the Martha Holden Jennings Foundation.